CBSE Mathematics Class 12, miscellaneous exercise on Chapter 10, question number 14. If vector A, vector V, vector C are mutually perpendicular vectors of equal magnitudes, so that the vector C dot D is equal to 15, is equally inclined to vector A, B and C. अब देखिए यहाँ पर vector A, B, C, these three vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other. Since vector A, vector V and vector C are mutually perpendicular vectors, we have means vector A dot vector V is equal to vector V dot vector C is equal to C vector dot A is equal to 0. It is known. जब परपेंडिकुलर टू ईच अदर होता है उस समय उन वेक्टर्स के जो डॉट प्रोडक्ट है दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 0 एंड इट इज गिवन दैट magnitude of the vector A is equal to magnitude of vector B is equal to the magnitude of vector C. Let the vectors A plus B plus C be inclined to vector A, vector B, vector C at an angle theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 respectively. Summation of the vectors be inclined to vector A, theta 1. Summation of these three vectors inclined to vector B, that is theta 2, or summation of these three vectors inclined to the vector C is theta 3 respectively. Then we have cos theta 1 will be equal to the summation of the vectors dot vector A whole upon the magnitude of the summation into the magnitude of vector A. Means जो न्यूमरेटर में वेक्टर्स लिखे हुए हैं उनका जो मैग्नीट्यूड होगा दैट विल बी इन द डिनोमिनेटर. अब इसको हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव प्रॉपर्टी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए ओपन करेंगे. देखिए वेक्टर A इंटू वेक्टर A, वेक्टर B इंटू वेक्टर A, वेक्टर C इंटू डॉट vector C dot vector A whole divided by the magnitude of the vector A plus vector B plus C into the magnitude of the vector A. अब हमने देखिए अब A into A है that will become magnitude of the vector A का whole square. So cos theta 1 will be equal to magnitude of the vector A का होल स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाय दिस. और साथ ही साथ वेक्टर B डॉट A एंड वेक्टर C डॉट A विल बी इक्वल टू 0 प्लस 0. यहाँ पर 0 प्लस 0 कर दिया और इसको हमने A स्क्वायर ले लिया. देखिए मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ A का होल स्क्वायर कर दिया क्योंकि वेक्टर A डॉट वेक्टर A है उसको हम ऐसे लिख दिया. अभी यहाँ पर डिनोमिनेटर में वेक्टर मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द वेक्टर है, इसका मैग्नीट्यूड वाला कैंसिल किया, इसका स्क्वायर कैंसिल कर दिया. सो वी आर लेफ्ट विथ cos थीटा 1 विल बी इक्वल टू द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द वेक्टर ए होल डिवाइडेड बाय द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द समेशन ऑफ द थ्री वेक्टर्स दैट इज ए प्लस बी प्लस सी. नाउ कम टू द cos थीटा 2. In that case also, the summation of these three vectors into dot product होना चाहिए. Dot product vector B whole divided by summation of the vectors magnitude of the summation of the vectors into magnitude of the vector B. जब हम ओपन करेंगे we will get A dot B, B dot B, C dot B whole divided by magnitude of the summation of the vector, that is A plus B plus C into magnitude of the vector B. अब इसमें देखिए A भी 0 हो जाएगा और C भी 0 हो जाएगा. We will get वेक्टर B का होल स्क्वायर हो जाएगा, वेक्टर B का मैग्नीट्यूड का होल स्क्वायर, और दिस विल बी कैंसिल्ड बाय दिस. स्क्वायर कैंसिल कर दिया हमने, इसका स्क्वायर कैंसिल कर दिया, इसका जो डिनोमिनेटर में है मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द वेक्टर B इसको कैंसिल कर. सो वी आर लेफ्ट विथ the magnitude of the vector B whole divided by the magnitude of the vector A plus B plus C. This is our second equation. This is the first one. Now come to the cos theta 3. That is summation, that is A plus B plus C into the vector C dot product. So we will get here the A dot C, B dot C, B dot C and C dot C. यहाँ पर डिनोमिनेटर में है समेशन का मैग्नीट्यूड और मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ वेक्टर सी. अब देखिए यहाँ पर क्या हो जाएगा, ए सी कैंसिल हो जाए, ए सी 0 हो जाएगा और बी सी 0 हो जाएगा और सी का मैग्नीट्यूड रहेगा देखिए 0 प्लस 0 और सी वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड का होल स्क्वायर. अब ये जो स्क्वायर है तो स्क्वायर का 2 कैंसिल कर दिया, नीचे से डिनोमिनेटर में से मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ सी कैंसिल कर दिया. सो वी आर लेफ्ट विथ ओनली the magnitude of C divided by the magnitude of vector A plus B plus C. This is our third equation. Now, as the magnitude of the vector A is equal to magnitude of vector B is equal to magnitude of vector C is given, and because the numerator of first, second and third are equal, देखिए यहाँ पर मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ सी है, यहाँ पर मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ बी है और यहाँ पर मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ ए है न्यूमरेटर में, एंड दिस न्यूमरेटर्स आर इक्वल बिकॉज द न्यूमरेटर फर्स्ट, सेकंड एंड थर्ड आर इक्वल. डिनोमिनेटर्स आर द सेम, न्यूमरेटर इक्वल है और डिनोमिनेटर सेम है. देयरफॉर द cos theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3 will be equal. Hence, theta 1 is equal to theta 2 is equal to theta 3, equally inclined. Now come to second method of the same question. देखिए सेकेंड मेथड में गिवन है मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ वेक्टर ए इज इक्वल टू मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ वेक्टर बी इज इक्वल टू मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ वेक्टर सी. दिस इम्प्लाइज दैट द वेक्टर ए इज इक्वल टू वेक्टर बी इज इक्वल टू वेक्टर सी. अब देखिए वेक्टर ए और वेक्टर बी एंड वेक्टर सी आर परपेंडिकुलर टू ईच अदर. दिस इम्प्लाइज दैट the dot product of the vector A and B is equal to 0, dot product of B and C is equal to 0, and dot product of vector A and C is equal to 0 because they are perpendicular to each other. Now, the vector A inside the bracket we have written the summation of the vector, that is a plus b plus c. Here if you multiply it, you will get only a square, because the AB is equal to AC is equal to 0. Similarly, in this case also, you will get B square. In the third case, when we multiply it by the distributive law of multiplication over addition है C square. As we know that vector A is equal to vector B is equal to vector C, it means that the square of the vectors means A square is equal to B square is equal to C square. So the dot product of the vector A and B will be equal to the magnitude of the vector A into magnitude of the vector A into magnitude of the vector B and cos theta. This will be the equal. So the A, B, C are mutually inclined to the sum of the three vectors, that is the summation of A vector A plus vector B plus C. This is the second method. Now come to the third method for the same question. The given that it is already given that mutually perpendicular है, तो हमने क्या लिख दिया? The dot product of AB is equal to 0, dot product of BC is equal to 0, dot product of AC is equal to 0. This implies that the magnitude of the vector A is equal to magnitude of the vector B is equal to magnitude of vector C. Let it be the K, C. अब देखिए यहाँ पर vector B, vector A and vector C, these are the perpendicular to each other, and the summation which makes angle in summation of the vector, summation of these three vectors makes angle alpha with A, beta with B and gamma with C respectively. We have to prove that the equally inclined means we have to prove that the alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma. The proof will be like this. The vector A plus vector B plus vector C dot vector E, that will be equal to the magnitude of the vector summation of these vectors and into magnitude of the vector E into cos alpha. That will be, while we will open it, you will get A into A, इसको मल्टीप्लाई किया हमने, तो क्या हुआ? वेक्टर A डॉट वेक्टर B E प्लस वेक्टर B डॉट वेक्टर A वेक्टर C डॉट वेक्टर E, and that will be equal to the magnitude of the summation of the vectors dot magnitudes of the vector E cos alpha. Here this square will be cancelled, स्क्वायर का 2 कैंसिल किया हूँ और यहाँ पर E, लेफ्ट राइट हैंड साइड में magnitude of E will be cancelled by this. So we are left with here the magnitude of E is equal to summation of the magnitude of the summation of the three vectors into cos alpha. So the cos alpha will be equal to the magnitude of E whole divided by the summation of the magnitude of the summation of the three vectors, that is A plus B plus C. Now the cos alpha will be equal to K upon, हमने K सपोज किया था पहले, देखिए. So in place of this we have written here K में K upon the magnitude of the summation of the three vectors. Similarly, we can prove for cos beta, cos gamma, and hence cos alpha will be equal to cos beta is equal to cos gamma. हर एक केस में आपको यही मिलेगा, cos alpha, cos beta में भी यही सिचुएशन आएगा. cos gamma में भी यही सिचुएशन आएगा. Hence these three are equal and it was to be proved. Hence it is proved. Now come to the question number 15. Question number 15, prove that summation of vector A plus B dot product A plus B will be equal to magnitudes of the vector A का whole square plus magnitude of the vector B का whole square if and only if vector A, vector B are perpendicular, given that vector A is not equal to 0 and vector B is not equal to 0 vector, means A and B are non-zero vectors. In that situation, we have to prove the given statement. So here, the vector A plus vector B dot product with vector A, vector B, and this implies that vector A and B are perpendicular, hence the magnitude of A का whole square plus magnitudes of B का whole square. So let us start the proof. Let the vector A plus vector B dot vector A plus vector B is equal to vector A का magnitude of vector A का whole square plus magnitude of vector B का whole square. So in the part 1 we can prove like this. Part 1, that is A into A part 1 में part 1 that is A into A plus B into B plus B into A plus B into B. This will give you us the magnitude of A का whole square plus magnitude of B का whole square, and it will be equal to the magnitudes of A का whole square plus twice of AB plus magnitude of B का whole square, that will be equal to magnitude of A का whole square plus magnitude of B का whole square. This left right hand side से A square का और ये B इसका magnitude इससे cancel हो जाएगा. So we are left with only the twice of vector A into vector B. So that will be equal to twice of AB will be equal to 0. It means the AB is equal to 0. This implies that either A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0, but the given that the both are not equal to 0. Hence, both are not equal to 0, hence the vector A and B are perpendicular to each other. That is the only alternative. One alternative is, it is mentioned that both vectors are non-zero, hence they are perpendicular to each other. In that case only this situation will be applicable. Now part 2, means if vector A is perpendicular to vector B, this implies that the vector A dot vector B is equal to 0. So the sum of vector A plus B dot A plus B, that will be equal to AA plus AB plus BA plus BB. Here it will be, this can be AA will be written like this. That will be the magnitudes of A का whole square plus magnitudes of B का whole square is equal to 0. Now come to the question number 16. Choose the correct answer in the exercise 16 to 19. Now if theta be the angle between the two vectors A and B, then vector A dot vector B is greater than or equal to 0 only when the options are like this. A, that is 0 is less than theta and theta is less than pi by 2. B, that is 0 is less than or equal to theta and theta is less than equal to pi by 2. C, that is 0 is less than theta and theta is less than pi. D, that is 0 is less than or equal to theta and theta is less than pi. These are the 4 options. So we have to choose which will be the correct one. Now the vector A dot vector B, that will be equal to the magnitude of vector A into magnitude of vector B cos theta. If theta is equal to 0, means cos theta will be equal to 1. Then the dot product of the vector 2 vectors will be equal to the magnitude of the vector A and magnitude of vector A and B. Product of this. Let theta be the angle between the 2 vectors A and B. Then without loss of generality, vector A and B are non-zero vectors, so that the vector A and vector B are positive. It is known that the vector A dot vector B will be equal to magnitudes of A into magnitudes of B cos theta. Therefore, the vector A dot vector B is greater than or equal to 0. This implies that the magnitudes of A into magnitudes of B cos theta is greater than or equal to 0. So cos theta is equal to greater than or equal to 0 means the magnitudes of the vector A and magnitudes of vector B are positive. So 0 is less than or equal to theta and theta is less than or equal to pi by 2. Hence, the vector A dot vector B is greater than or equal to 0 when 0 is less than or equal to theta and theta is less than or equal to pi by 2. Therefore, the option B is the correct option. That's all.